This episode is brought to you by Cardimax. Life on the front line requires you step up your game. Owned and operated by former Navy SEAL Sean Matson, Cardimax has designed just the right supplements for you and is offering American Party an exclusive offer. Buy one, get one free in your first order. Go to Cardimax.com and use the promo code American. That's Cardimax.com, helping you achieve your max. Yeah.
Dan, you helped me achieve my max.
What?
Yeah. Climax.
What do you mean?
I just, dude, you just come in here and you walk in like a freaking Bainey rooster.
I light up the room.
You do.
For sure.
You do. You come in and it's like, I never watched it much, but do you remember like it had that WWZ or that WWF or whatever?
Wrestling, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fake stuff.
Well, I mean, you know.
Remember when they come in and like the lights and shit blow up and they have the song like when they come down the runway?
Like a concert.
No,
Kinda,
like when the
right? Yeah.
but when the person does it, like who's about to come
walkout
in.
music, yeah.
That's like you.
I should have a theme
You should.
song. Yeah.
Every room you walk into, it should play.
Just the glass breaking like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
But except for that, or instead of that, it's that song about loving hot guys crying or whatever the fuck you guys have been talking
That's
about.
my song.
Mm.
Yeah. Got a new song. My new walkout song is "I Love It When Hot Guys Cry."
Is that a real song?
Yes. Do you want to hear it?
I'm asking other people that will answer me honestly. Is that a real song? Find the song and cue it up and play a little bit of it, but not too much because I don't want to get taken down.
I don't know if that's real. Yeah. But anyways, I'll just sing it to you.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm just kidding. You're such a dick.
I mean, don't make it too accurate though, because we hummed a song. Wait, I think in like 2018 when they first started doing all this stupid censorship bullshit on YouTube, Ross hummed the theme to McDonald's or something, and something got flagged because of that.
Huh.
Yeah. So
do you?
They're really protecting the country.
Question for you: what would it take to get you to do a music video with me to that song? You just be the hot guy.
Do you want it? Huh?
You want to hear it at all?
Yeah. Kind of, but not. Yeah, I guess play a little bit of it.
Just a little bit.
So it's just me crying.
Like you're the hot guy, so like I'm the guy singing it.
Mm-hmm.
And basically,
I love it when hot guys cry. I can do it all of the time.
All right, that's enough.
I can break your heart at the drop of a dime. Dan.
What? And who is this that does that song?
Dude.
What's the name of the artist?
Link Lauren.
Who cares?
Link Lauren.
I think we could just spend like a half day filming a music video to it, and you're the hot guy, and I'm making you cry like at the drop of a dime.
But what are your methodologies for making me cry exactly?
Well, like there's like one part where he talks about how the hot guy wants to stay overnight, and he kicks him to the curb when he's done, and that's what I would do to you.
Mm.
You know, like just kind of get what you want, send you home.
Now, what would make you think that I would want to stay?
I mean, dude, I know like deep down, like you're a fucking cuddler.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, like the dudes that act like the hardest, like you, I mean, you're fucking hard. You're harder than woodpecker lips. And that's pretty hard.
That's mostly because of Roman, though.
Well, but I'm just saying, like your personality, like you kind of don't, you're not very emotional. And,
that's right.
But I just know that, like deep down, like you're a freaking cuddler. You're like you're a big spoon cuddler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
What
are we getting at here exactly?
I just think you're beautiful.
Thanks.
What have you been doing?
Let's see. Well, yesterday we interviewed Gilbert Godfrey. That was fun.
But that was badass.
Yeah, he's so funny. Just have a lot of respect for him.
Yeah.
Just been in the game a long time, done a lot of fun stuff.
And it's kind of cool in a world now where it's hard to fucking respect anybody.
Yeah.
To say you respect somebody.
Yeah, he's really funny, and he doesn't give a shit about the consequences of jokes. So that's something I respect a lot.
Yeah, you can't beat that, right?
Yeah, and we had the guy who claims to have invented hot Cheetos on the show the other day as well. That was pretty fun.
Claims? Clay.
I mean, I think it was the LA Times or somebody ran a story just last week that said that he's full of shit.
Well, so
But I don't know if that's like their claim is that Frito-Lay had been talking about doing something like that for 10 years previous to him coming on board, but it never happened until he was there, and we definitely know that he had some influence over it. So it's like that's like getting something done and somebody says, "Oh, I was going to do that."
Yeah.
So maybe he's straight up and they're just nitpicking. Although it was a weird interview.
what
Pardon me.
Easy. Easy, Chief. So have you heard about the guy, the lobster fisherman that says he got swallowed by a whale and spit
Yeah.
back out, and now they're calling him a liar?
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit.
No, I mean I can see the liar part for sure. Yeah.
I mean, is he like the real world Pinocchio?
Well, I mean he's not made out of wood,
Yeah.
so far as I can tell. He might be the real life Jonah, although it seems as though he's probably not telling the truth, right?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right? But it's a pretty cool story.
Swallowed by a whale. I mean, you probably had your dick swallowed by a whale before, right? Like a fat girl. Nothing? Love it when hot guys cry.
So I'll just tell you up front, like I don't participate in those activities. I wait till marriage. I usually.
Do you mean you wait until marriage
don't.
and then you just fuck whomever, or do you just fuck the person you're married to?
No, I'm just saying, like I like to refer to women as women. I'm very respectful, and I just like I don't participate in those things. I'm more a puzzler and responsible human being.
What's irresponsible about calling a girl a fuck pig, for example?
I mean,
If that is accurate. And look, there's no judgment. I enjoy sluts. Sluts have made my life a lot better over the years. You know, you grow out of it at some point. Well,
Yeah.
most people do, but I'm not going to slut shame now after I've benefited so much from that. That's like these people like Amy Schumer who tells racist and rape jokes and gets famous because of how edgy she is and then starts a cancel culture war afterwards.
Yeah.
Like she's too good for that now. No, I'm not too good for sluts. I appreciate that infrastructure that exists out there to help, lonely men get laid.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm just more about relationships, more about
So am I.
dating and I'm more about getting to know somebody's personality.
I like to get to know that as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I don't really focus on. I mean, that's just. Do you watch porn?
Are you asking me if I watch porn, Dakota?
I mean, really, I still don't believe you. I still don't believe that you watch that pornography.
I'll set up a Ring camera in my bedroom.
Oh God.
And you can see exactly how many times a day I watch pornography.
Yeah.
You can see all the fucking T-shirts that are crumpled up on the ground with foreign substances on them. Just whatever I've got that's nearby to clean myself off, right?
Like you sweat a lot?
No, jizz, cum.
Oh man.
Just blasting on myself all the time, all day long. I have to, otherwise I'll fuck somebody up.
Really?
Yeah.
So you just beat off all the time.
Yeah, big time. So does everybody else.
I don't believe
Earth.
that. I don't believe that.
Yeah,
But
everybody
anyways,
does. Anybody that has the
I'm
time
like really
is pounding off all
I'm
the
really
time.
like uncomfortable right now. Just as you watch this pornography stuff and then you ejaculate on
Whatever's nearby. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh man, you're an entertainer.
Life is all about convenience.
Do you want to put that Ring camera up? I'll buy the Ring camera.
No, I've got one somewhere.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Dakota Sky. Did she die? That's funny. I mean, it's not funny that she died. It's just weird, I guess.
I'll just say this, that I'm just more of like, I'm into puzzles and like things like that. I mean, you don't get like you don't feel good after like putting together like a 300-piece puzzle.
I don't know. I haven't done that since I was a fucking child.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
No, I get high.
Yeah, high.
So I don't,
Dude,
like puzzles are
skydive?
too complicated.
Like you get high like drugs?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's scary. That's scary, man. You know, you live, I tell you what, I envy you. I envy you the life that you live.
Jared did the Ibogaine stuff recently.
I heard.
It's pretty intense.
You gonna do it?
At some point, sure, yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, man, like for me, I'm just a big hand holder. I like holding hands. Hugs. Dude, you get a hug? Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm just not really into this whole like just having sex and not respecting and appreciating.
What makes you think I don't respect and appreciate the person I'm having sex with?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to kind of make love. You just kind of make love, you know? You got it's love. It's making love. It's not the F word.
You can do both, actually.
No,
Yeah.
More about love and slow and getting to know them.
Sometimes it's
Feeling
slow and
closer.
sweet, and sometimes I spit in her mouth and slap her in the face. You know
Spit
what I
in her
mean?
mouth?
Yeah, if that's what she wants.
Spit in her mouth?
Look, people just want to feel nasty sometimes, right? You have to go through life and pretend like you don't like shit because of social norms and blah, 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 and then you get home and you want to eat a fucking cheeseburger and be left alone. You want to order Taco Bell at 2 a.m. You want to get your mouth spit in.
Spit in?
Sometimes, yeah. Not me personally, but I know
Ooh.
some people do like that.
Yeah, well, that's cool, man. That's yeah. Anyways, so like, do they ask you like, do they like, hey, like, how do you bring that conversation up? Like, hey, Dan, could you spit in my mouth?
Yeah, pretty much. What I usually do is when I first walk in, I go to the closet there and I change into a sweater vest like Mr. Rogers, put a different pair of glasses and shoes on to relax everybody, right? Then I'll walk over, sit on the couch, cross my legs over, pull my glasses down to the tip of my nose, and then pull out a notepad and say, what are we doing today? And I'll make a full list. And I'll be like, is this okay? Is this not okay? How would you like me to do this? Then I send that to my attorneys. They sign off on everything, and then we get down.
Well,
Yeah.
that's kind of cool.
Saves you a lot of trouble.
Yeah, cool, man. So what are we talking about today? We got some badass, we're talking about the Supreme Court decisions that are coming up.
Well, yeah, there have been a lot already too, by the way, so far. But there's some big ones coming up. There's stuff with abortion, guns, maybe affirmative action, Obamacare challenge again. Let's see. One that I thought would actually pass or go the way go a different way was the sentence reduction for minor crack offenses. So that 1986 law that set mandatory minimums for crack, different mandatory minimums for crack than for cocaine, by the way, which has been a big beef in the black community for a long time because it's stupid. I mean, it just intentionally targets black people.
Yeah.
And it was reinforced in the crime bill. Supreme Court knocked that one down and said people asking for resentencing in the First Step Act were, they can go fuck themselves, I guess. Right? It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, I guess in some ways you have to obey the laws that exist at the time, and everybody knows and understands the law, and then you commit crimes and accept that risk. But
yeah, but dude, you can't like change a law and then not let the people you can't still hold people in jail for a law that's not even the fucking law anymore.
I agree, and it's
That's the dumbest shit ever.
well, this is all about money, right? So I don't know if the general public follows this stuff, but a number of states have statewide prisons, and the federal government also has prisons where there are contracts between the government and the private prison system that they have to keep a certain number of beds filled throughout the year.
Fuck, they're all full.
A lot of them are, yeah. And it costs, what, like $46,000 a year to keep somebody in prison? And about a third of those people are in prison for some kind of weed-related offense.
That's so stupid.
I mean, how many billions of dollars are we wasting a year? not only are we having to pay for these people to exist, but they're not contributing anything. And,
Yeah.
and when they get out, won't be able to contribute anything because now they're felons, right? And they can't get good jobs. It's fucking stupid.
So do you think, like, let me ask you this, and this is just off the top of my head.
Like, how would
speaking out
anything
loud.
weed related ever have been a felony?
Well,
Unless it was a violent crime of some sort. Why would weed be a felony?
okay, I'm with you. So the question, and I don't know. So like I said, I'm speaking, I'm just like thinking out loud, okay, which is kind of scary for everybody. So hold on. Do you think that piece of it is why the federal government won't go ahead and legalize it, and it's just the states because they still want to justify the people in jails?
Probably.
I bet that is.
I mean, it's always money, right?
Always money. Wait, what do we say? There's only one color that matters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it matters. The color green matters just as much to the government as it does to anybody else. That's why they try and pull these parlor tricks, this sleight of hand to convince you that all of our skin color matters, while
Yeah.
they're fucking raking in money because they're all cunts.
Well, I'll tell you this, Dan. You fucking matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Probably not.
You do to me.
There have been a number of other Supreme Court rulings this term, but we'll come back to some of those later. I want to get into this, some of the major upcoming decisions. One of them is one that I've been following for a while, and it's NCAA versus Sean Alston. And it is from a group of students. Where was the first? Who actually won that case?
I think it came out of Northwestern.
Northwestern, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one is from the West Virginia Mountaineers, Sean Alston, and other student athletes sued the NCAA for allegedly violating antitrust laws by restricting the education-related benefits that players can receive. The lawsuit claims that the NCAA illegally interfered in the market by limiting schools from providing players with equipment, programs, and perks in exchange for playing on college sports teams.
So I think this thing. So this is basically what they're saying is that, like, you can't it's the bribery shit, right? Like, so you can't receive any outside gifts while you're a college athlete.
Well, that's part of it, but this one is specifically talking about.
Yeah, it's right here. It distinguishes college athletes from professional athletes.
Yeah.
So like they can't be compensated for them doing it. Now here's what I think is bullshit.
These football players make their universities millions of dollars.
That's what I'm saying is, right? Like, I think it's such bullshit for colleges to be able to, like, you know what? I bet if you ask these guys, hey, why not give them an option? You can pay your tuition and be able to benefit, or you can get a free scholarship, right? And give them an option.
Why? I mean, they should be getting both.
I agree.
There's no at most that scholarship is worth what, 120 grand for an undergraduate degree at the most expensive school that you're going to go to that's a public school. So, Trevor Lawrence at Clemson made them more than that.
Yeah,
a lot of these guys did, and it's more so. I'm not even advocating for the player to be paid by the university. I don't care about that, but they should be able to benefit off their own likeness for sure.
For sure, they should have endorsement deals and all that.
And I think it's going to pass this one. So Seth Waxman, the NCAA's attorney, claims that the educational benefits, the educational benefits are effectively professional salaries and would therefore make the students professional athletes. The student's attorney said the arguments were just the latest attempt to promote the idea that compensating students will drive away fans. The NCAA said that for years, and that's nonsense, by the way.
Yeah, I mean
Clarence Thomas and
the NBA doesn't have a problem with fans.
No, well they do actually,
but that's not because
No.
But that's not because they pay their athletes.
No. Clarence Thomas said that that coaches, NCAA coaches, make millions of dollars, and that's one of the key arguments that people who are advocates for the players have made. So it seems like he's on their side. Chief Justice John Roberts has also made several comments that are more sympathetic towards the NCAA's case, right? So it's hard to say. He often breaks ranks with conservatives, but conservatives have a clear majority here, and it's Clarence Thomas is usually a good bellwether for how the conservatives in the court are leaning.
Yeah.
So it's they will probably win this 5-4 at least, I would guess, which means, well, we don't know what it means. It depends on what the opinion they write is. Like if Clarence Thomas is the head associate on that and writes the opinion, his opinion matters, right? So if he says something like these players should be allowed to be compensated for their own image, for example, immediately it becomes legal for players to go out and get endorsement contracts.
Yeah, I mean, like if they're selling gear with that, and I think this is what nails it all down. If they're selling gear with that person's name, it's the person's likeness.
Yeah, in the video games.
The video games,
stuff.
all that shit.
Like what?
Like watch this. You want to talk about video game sales going down? Take their names off of the back.
Well, they had college football without names on it for a while, and it didn't last. I think this is a good one. I don't think the NCAA necessarily should be paying the kids, but I do think they should be able to profit off endorsements. And to be honest, why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Like why not? If you're especially in football, the average football career, the average professional football career is 3 years. 3 years. You might get one contract out of that whole deal, and that means that most people, particularly younger kids who know how to brand better, are probably going to make more off endorsements than they ever do off salary. Let them fucking make money.
Yeah, for sure.
Who cares? Don't get it.
I don't get it either, D'Anthony.
Next up, this is an interesting case. This is Texas versus California. And for the third time in a decade, the Supreme Court is going to be hearing a case against the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, as it is colloquially known. The ACA consists of three major principles, all of which are believed to be necessary to prop up the health care law. Principle 1 is the individual shared responsibility, which requires Americans to maintain minimum essential coverage or face a tax penalty. We all know this because every tax year you have to kind of prove that you had health care. I mean, they just ask you and you say yes or no. Mm-hmm. I've never actually had to turn in any documentation.
You haven't?
No. I mean, if they ask, it's the VA. Maybe that's why I don't have to turn it in, because they can just check it out, but whatever. Principle 2 is the, quote, prohibition on pre-existing condition exclusions, which means the ACA mandated carriers cannot charge higher premiums or refuse to insure a person based on pre-existing health conditions. The third principle is premium tax credits and marketplace exchanges, which allow individuals to compare and purchase coverage outside the workplace. In 2017, Congress stopped enforcing the tax penalty on most Americans who refused to buy health insurance. This led to 18 GOP-led states suing Congress for failing to enforce the mandate, which they argued rendered the provision of the 2010 law illegal. They argued that due to all three principles being required to prop up the ACA, not enforcing one of the principles should result in the ACA being removed. Now, this has been going on since 2011. I think Congress, just during the Obama administration, voted 45 or 46 times to try to overturn the ACA, and they failed every single time.
Well, I mean, I think part of it has to be that they don't have anything to, they're not, like you're not, the only way you're going to get rid of this is by coming in with a plan.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, it's not about like, it's like, oh, we just want to get rid of it. No, well, what's the fucking plan then? Because I think we can all agree that our healthcare system is fucking broken.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, we tell people they can be as healthy as they can afford to be, right?
Yeah.
That's, I can't think of anything, sorry, something. I can't think of anything more immoral than that in the richest country in the history of the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you see Nick Gear over here?
What you talking about?
He wants to know why you keep saying 1/3 of the people in prison are for weed. That's complete BS.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, whenever you get your degree in fucking security management, let me know, and we can fucking have that conversation again, buddy.
Yeah, Nick.
Goodness. Anyways, Back to the actual story we're talking about. So this is just like a kind of a procedural or technical way to try to kill the ACA. That's what they're trying to do. I don't think that the Supreme Court will strike it down, frankly, because it's not their job to do that. Like if you want to say, hey, you need to fix this somehow, but they're not just going to cut off health insurance and infrastructure for all these people, like you said, without some kind of plan. It's just not going to happen. And it shouldn't happen like that either.
I mean, why hasn't somebody came in and tried to do like an overhaul on the ACA?
Well, I mean, a lot of people have, had these, I wouldn't call it a plan necessarily, but a lot of people have had ideas about what might be good. But the reason no one has done it is because it costs a fuckload of money to get elected. And a lot of that money comes from the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Hillary Clinton takes more money from the pharmaceutical industry than any other politician in American history.
Really?
She did. Not anymore, I suppose, but
She doesn't really need it now, does she? Whatever happened? Where's she at?
suiciding people, apparently. I don't know what she's doing. But anyways, the real solution to healthcare is obvious to me. We have all this money that we've set aside for healthcare, whatever we plan as a nation to spend on that. For some reason, we give 20% of it to health insurance companies who provide no real service other than holding money in escrow and, cutting backroom deals with the big pharmaceutical industry. No piece of legislation, except for the one that Trump tried to pass, I think in 2018, that the liberals lost their fucking minds about, has ever tried to curb the bullshit from the pharmaceutical industry. Yeah. Now, what he did was, I think he was giving the states the right to negotiate with other drug manufacturers in other countries for drugs and stuff like that. And, man, the leftists lit him up, as they are wont to do for no particular reason. Remember how saying that the pandemic came from a lab was racist and conspiracy theory? Well, Jon Stewart was on Stephen Colbert's show 2 nights ago saying the exact same thing and then making fun of Colbert for being so incredulous about it.
Yeah.
So can we say it out loud now? Because 6 months ago, it was the policy of Twitter and Facebook to ban people for saying that phrase.
Well.
And now we know that it's true, right?
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Unbelievable. Anyways, nobody wants to take on the pharmaceutical industry.
Nobody.
That's it. Nobody's got the
balls.
balls
They run the
to.
world.
Yeah, I mean, look at the way this vaccine shit came about. One of the big parts of all this, one of the reason that the media went so hard against the zinc, hydroxychloroquine, et cetera combination for both a prophylaxis and a treatment is because if there is a treatment recognized by the CDC for a disease, you cannot issue an emergency use authorization for a vaccine.
There's no money in that.
Bob, do you want to look up how much money we've spent on vaccines so far in 2021? And this number will be exactly why the Affordable Care Act still exists. Why it exists in the first place, because it's always been a handout to insurance companies.
Yeah. Yeah, it fucks over the doctors. It fucks over providers.
Yeah.
It fucks over the people needing it. But the people who rule and get the money from it are the fucking insurance companies.
Yeah, of course. Insurance and pharmaceutical companies. It's always them, right? It's always these cutout middlemen that have government contracts that can operate with impunity above the law that make money on this stuff.
Yep.
I'm seeing like this. This is from the Congressional Research Service. Domestic funding for COVID-19 vaccines, $6.05 billion to HHS for research, development, et cetera. $500 million to the FDA, included for reviewing and stuff like that, and then $10 billion available until September 30th, 2025 for activities under the Defense Production Act with respect to medical supplies and equipment for the pandemic including 4 vaccines. So I guess that 10 isn't all for vaccines, but the other 2 seem to be pretty much all
Okay, so Johnson & Johnson now, this year, they expect a full year profit of somewhere between 9.4 and 9.57 billion.
Huh?
It's not that much, though.
I mean,
It expects revenue of somewhere between 90 and 92, compared to its previous forecast of about 2 billion less than that. Let's see, Moderna, total revenue for just the first 3 months of this year, 1.8 billion compared to 2020, where they made $8 million.
that's it.
They made $8 million in 2020 in the first 3 months of the year. 2021 in the first 3 months of the year, $1.9 billion.
Wow.
And Pfizer
Hey,
is on pace for $26 billion just in COVID revenue.
suffering people is good business.
Yeah. So if you're wondering what this is all about, it's always about the same goddamn thing. It's always about money. Always. 100% of the time, it is about money in some way, shape, or form. Somebody's either making it or stealing it.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm all about.
What's that?
You can't guess? You can't guess what I'm all about.
Nope.
It's fine. I'm not telling you then.
So, by the way, I just looked this up real quick. Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer, stock changes over 5 years, not that much. Moderna, I didn't do any other research on this, but Moderna went from $18 a share on January 3rd, 2020 to, it's at $197.83 today.
Holy shit.
Now, here's a good question. How many of the quote-unquote blind trusts that all these senators and Congress people have money put in Moderna? How much money has Nancy Pelosi and her husband made off of this? Because they've benefited from her research before. I mean, you're not going to find any of this on the internet. The government will go to great lengths to hide this information. As a matter of fact, it's not even illegal. There's no law that says people in Congress, whether it's the House or the Senate, can't profit from secret information that they get on committees and as part of their
Oh,
job.
it's illegal.
No.
It's not?
Nope. There is no law saying they can't do that. There's no such thing as insider trading for a politician in the United States.
No,
Let that sink in.
I mean, I've seen it, but I've seen them bring these issues up.
They bring them up, yeah. Yeah. They bring them up. There's no law that says they can't do it.
That's fucked.
Isn't it? Seems a little fucked, huh?
Yeah.
Goodness. So anyways, if this, again, the Supreme Court were to overturn this stuff, 20 million people would be removed for their insurance immediately. But that begs the question. There's 180 million adults in the United States.
Yeah.
I don't know what percentage, Bob, what percentage of Americans are insured? So I'm guessing, what is
50%.
that? Probably, right?
In 2019, private health insurance covered an estimated 179 million individuals, 55.4% of the U.S. population. 42 million individuals, or 13%. I don't know.
So 50%, you were right.
Yeah.
About 50%.
So that includes kids on their parents'
yeah.
health plan and shit.
Right. So about 50% of, you can assume that 50% of adults are also on health insurance. That means that's about 90 million that have health insurance at all. And only 20 million of those are on the Obamacare system.
That's crazy.
So this Affordable Care Act shit that we keep fighting back and forth over is 2/9, 22% of our insured population.
Yeah.
And it dominates the news. It's fucking stupid, man. We just pick the weirdest shit to sit around and fucking put our thumbs in our butts. It's very bizarre.
You don't think that the big pharma pushes all this? I mean,
I'm sure they
control
do, yeah.
everything. They
For
fucking
sure.
control everything.
Yeah, I mean, how do you? I don't understand how. I get the argument from conservatives that they don't want the government involved in this shit. I think the government should create the legal framework to make sure that everybody
Parameters.
has health care, not health insurance, but health care in this country.
Yeah.
Because we can't afford to do that if we cut out these middlemen. But the government should have absolutely no role in implementation or enforcement or the day-to-day operations of anything ever, right? I mean, they fucking suck at everything. Why would we want that? But I also understand the point of view that we should have health coverage for people. Like, if you think that just having private companies selling you health insurance is the answer,
The federal government spends $1.2 trillion a year
on healthcare, yeah.
Just to insurance companies.
Yeah.
In addition,
1.2 trillion.
1.2.
And our GDP, our total GDP is what's 22 or 23 trillion, something like that. So it's like a tenth. It's
a year. That's a year.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. So, you know, it is what it is. I just think the people that are so hard anti-universal health care are making a big mistake, because you end up paying for it either fucking way, because you get on health insurance only works because it's a collective group of money, right, that spreads risk over a larger area. And when poor people who can't get health care have to use the emergency room like a day-to-day clinic, then your rates go up,
Yes.
right? And when you let private companies handle it without somebody in the enforcement level, and unfortunately that is the government, telling the pharmaceutical companies they can't charge you $30 for one aspirin, rates go up. 83% of all privately filed bankruptcy in the United States are filed because of unpaid medical expenses. So you keep paying for it, whether it's through inflation, through bad economies, through fucking extra healthcare costs, whatever it is, you're paying for it. So why don't we pay for it in a way that helps people and gets people taken care of and takes money and power outside of the fucking government? That makes sense to me.
That's nuts. Also, Nick, I don't care. But yeah, that's fucked. That is fucked, man. $1.2 trillion a year.
Yeah. It's a lot of money, right? Yeah. Let's see. Let's do some sponsors. Then we'll go back to bitching about the Supreme Court. First up, obviously, GhostBed. Ghostbed.com/Drinking Bros. Best beds in the world. They got a bunch of new shit out. Sheets. They got the 3D Matrix.
Yeah.
Big fan of that one. Mm-hmm. Actually, we've got a chunk of it around here somewhere. I don't remember where we put it, but we've got a big piece of the innards. Ooh. And it is he's fucking fake Dan sitting on it. You don't want it now. It's got his ass all over it.
Yeah. Don't see me yet.
But it's a cooling mattress, soft as shit. They got the mattress protectors. They've got the great sheets. They got 3 different types of pillow. They got everything.
Yeah,
30% off.
GhostBed's the real OGs too.
Yeah, they've been with us for 5 years now.
Yeah, and they take care of they got the cooling technology.
Mm.
I mean, they're badass, man.
Yeah, they got the most comfortable beds of all time.
For sure. 20 years, 0%
20-year warranty.
20-year warranty, and then you got 72? 3 years?
4,
what is it?
3 years. Oh yeah, 36 months pay as you go.
36 months pay as you go.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, it's a really good company. Everybody knows them. Go to ghostbed.com/Drinking Bros. Also, go to babbel.com. Use the promo code American for 3 free months of Babbel, 3 extra months. So you get 6 months for the cost or the price of 3. In case you don't speak Spanish,
¿Cómo estás?
We're learning it
Yep.
from Babbel. We're actually working on a documentary about the border. In the early stages of it right now, and about some of the stuff we've done on this show. Doing a lot of research on that right now, and we're gonna end up having to go down there a couple of times. So this is really gonna come in handy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I probably won't be able to speak it that well because I don't care enough, but I'll definitely be able to understand a lot more, which is helpful. Somebody sent me a bunch of pictures from the airports this weekend, like a whole 14 people in one travel group.
One travel group?
Yeah, 14 people, just randomly. Anyways, Babbel really did it right. We all used different software in the military back in the day, and it was okay. It was the immersion style, which is great, but it just didn't do the job for me. It wasn't enough. So Babbel came with this program designed by language experts and technical experts to divide everything into 15-minute lessons.
Yeah. or whatever you can do.
Yeah, I mean, you just tell them I could do X amount of time a day, and they just give you the amount of lessons you get. The recall stuff is really good. The way they set it up is really good. The language, everybody remembers studying a foreign language in high school. That was a fucking joke.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't remember. You remember fucking bibliotech and pantalones and shit like that, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
You know, this product is so good. It uses AI to work on the lesson plan, and I can kind of follow the logic around, but the thing that I really like is the speech recognition.
Yeah, it recognizes how you're saying it.
Yeah, because I always fuck that up. I mean, we should get Ross this for English.
Oh.
Because he can't pronounce anything correctly.
Well, I could probably use it for English too. That's
Yeah.
the one hold on. That's
What?
the one I've been doing.
Babbel, yeah. Oh, you've been doing English? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should be. Right now, when you purchase a 3-month Babbel subscription, you get 3 additional months for free. That's 6 months for the price of 3. Go to Babbel, BABBEL.com. Use the promo code American. That's Babbel.com. Code American for an extra 3 months of free. Babbel, language for life. Let's see, what's this one? Brnovich, I don't know how you say that, versus the Democratic National Committee. So the Supreme Court will be considering whether Arizona's voting rules discriminate against minorities. The case is challenging 2 Arizona voting provisions, 1 policy and 1 law. The first provision is a policy known as the, quote, out of precinct policy, which says if a ballot is cast at the wrong voting facility, the entire ballot is thrown out. I don't know
What does
how
that mean?
I don't know how you can even do that.
How did
I voted for a very long time, and you go up, you show your ID, and then they hand you your ballot,
Yeah, how do you-
specifically with your name on it. So how can you vote out of maybe you get you same-day registration, but you're out of your precinct, maybe? I don't know.
I thought you had to pre-register. You had to register to vote.
Well, some states do have same-day registry,
Oh.
which I'm fine with, as long as
Yeah.
you can provide the proper ID. Who gives a shit? I mean, it's kind of a dick move because you're backing up the line at that point. And when I was in California, I voted early every single time because I don't want to wait in that fucking line. All you do is you go in, you show them your ID, they give you your fucking ballot, then they mail you a test ballot, right?
Yeah.
They mail you a test ballot and ahead of time. Then you have to go pick up your ballot, fill it out, and then you put it back in one of their secure things. Simple, right?
That's fucking crazy.
But it wasn't like they mail it to your house and then some old lady can go around the neighborhood and collect all of them and bring them in. And then while she's collecting them, trick the other old people into voting for somebody else. Because we saw that from Veritas, right? They were,
yeah, for sure. Dude, our
and
voting,
nothing ever came from that. It wasn't enough to move the needle, but all those people should be in prison.
100%.
I mean, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Our voting system is fucked.
Voter fraud has to be like one of the most penalized thing.
Yeah.
You can't get away with that shit. It's like hurting kids. Like it attacks directly the infrastructure of the country.
I remember growing up and voting is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like voting. I mean, that's one of the things you lose if you become a felony. Or you're a felon, right? It's all these things that
It's really dumb. So around 90% of the state's county assigned voters to a specific precinct based on their home address. Now, I thought that was always the case. Has anybody did you vote in Pennsylvania? You voted in Missouri and here, right? Bob?
I've voted in Missouri when I was in college. I've been voting in Texas since 2013.
And you get assigned, before the pandemic bullshit, just got assigned a specific precinct that you were supposed to show up there on voting day or sometime before that, or you get an absentee ballot or whatever, right?
In Travis County, you can do it literally anywhere in the county. There's no specific polling place that I have to go to. In Missouri, I voted in Boone County, which is where the University of Missouri is, and I did that one on campus. But I did live in the same zip code as campus, so I don't know.
That's how it is at UW-Madison too. Everybody voted on campus. So when I was in California, they send you the little card with your voter registration, and it gives you the name of the place and the address. It's usually like an elementary school or some shit like that, where you go to that specific place to vote. And I don't know, is that really important? It's 2021. Do we still have to show up to a specific physical location? If you have the ID, it's easy enough to. It looks like you.
I don't think Texas does that at all. I actually think Texas, you can be anywhere in the county that you're registered in.
Yeah, that's how it should. Why would it not be like that? So I think that part will definitely. And the good thing about SCOTUS is they can fucking deal with certain parts of these cases without dealing with others. Like they can pick one of these and be like, hey, this is wrong, but the rest of this is fine.
Yeah.
We'll see how they go. So a voter who shows up at a polling station, keep in mind this is in Arizona, but this will apply everywhere. A voter who shows up at a polling station where they do not appear on the voting rolls can cast a provisional ballot. But if officials later determine they voted in the wrong precinct, the entire ballot is discarded currently, right? I think that's kind of silly. I mean, I guess the rule currently is that you have to vote in your precinct, so you have to follow the rules.
Yeah.
But I think that rule is kind of dumb for 2021, isn't it? Like, what difference does it make if you show up to the elementary school down the street or the one closer to your work? Like, people have to take time off during the day, the work day, to go vote.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think it should be the same fucking state.
At least as long as it's in the fucking state, who cares?
Yeah,
like, if you can, let's worry about actually identifying who people are instead of where they're fucking voting.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man. Like, if you have their ID and it's on a digital system, you can tell if they double vote.
It's not like they should be to a certain, like say they should have to vote at a certain voting center because
it's a waste of time.
So and so can verify that they live there.
Like, Jim Bob grew up with him. He'll know.
Oh yeah,
like,
that's Uncle Lucy's sister.
Yeah, is that our fucking national identification system now? Some fucking hillbilly that you grew up with being able to tell that it was like, oh, that's old Doc Jones from the fucking thing. Like, shut the fuck up.
Hold on.
You're a hillbilly.
Yeah. So fucking retract that statement.
No, not at all. Isn't that ridiculous though? It's like those directions you get from people, like, go down to where the tree stump used to be and take a left. Like, all right, dude, I'm just going to stay home.
That's down there. Go down there where Uncle Lucy got married.
Uncle Lucy, huh?
Yeah.
You came from a separate part of fucking Kentucky, I think.
Uncle Lucy.
So the second...
we started it before it was cool.
Yeah. I think that was the Greeks, actually. So the second revision is a law that bans third parties from collecting ballots, which is known as ballot harvesting, what I was just talking about. 100% get rid of that shit. Get rid of it. Because every time we find out ballot harvesting is going on, we find corruption every single time. Yes. And it's low level and it's not enough to make a difference, but you're disenfranchising people from the vote that they wanted to cast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't fuck with the vote like that.
No.
The law makes ballot harvesting a felony, punishable by a $150,000 fine and up to 2 years in prison. The challengers argue that both the policy and the law violate Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, which prohibits policies or laws that result in racial discrimination in voting. So again, this is the left saying that black people aren't smart enough to fucking vote.
Yeah.
They're not smart enough to have bank accounts, get attorneys, go to school, whatever the fuck else, right? That's the Democratic position on black people in America. These poor people, they can't figure it out. Are you fucking kidding me?
I mean, but technically, like, doesn't everything violate? Everything, look, people are talking about, oh, my First Amendment right, blah, blah, blah. Well, I mean, if I tell you I want to kill you and people take me to jail for threatening you, I mean, I do have a First Amendment right.
Right. And
it's kind of like everything, you can find a way to spin everything, right?
Right.
Like, no matter, it's just how you want to make it fit for your own individual reasoning.
Yeah, that's why a good law is clear, concise, and enforceable, right?
Yeah.
Clear in that it is easily understood, concise in that it applies very narrowly and specifically to one thing, can't be used for other shit, and enforceable in that there's actual teeth.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like
that is every law class you'll ever take will tell you those three things. So they also argue that the ban on ballot harvesting was the product of intentional discrimination by the state legislature, which violates Section 2 and 15. Man, come on. And the 15th Amendment, excuse me. No, the ballot harvesting rhetoric is because every time we saw ballot harvesting, I mean, Veritas came out with 3 or 4 different reports of people paying people to vote a certain way. Or we have this video of this old Latina lady convincing the elderly people in her fucking neighborhood to switch their vote to somebody else. And then she was on camera saying that she was being paid to do that by DNC people, right? That's a fucking felony, man.
But I think look. And I know this might sound dumb, but for people out there who don't know what ballot harvesting is, it's basically where political operatives basically where people can go around and collect voters' ballots and turn them in to the polling stations.
Right. And there's no rule saying that it can't be like a DNC or RNC employee or contractor. How crazy is that?
Yeah.
That's like taking a fucking, well, shit. It's like having a trial, but you bring your fucking friends in to be on the jury. You know what I mean? Of course there's going to be corruption there. Doesn't make any sense.
I mean, let me ask you this. With the technology we have, face identification, all this, right? Why can you not sit here? It identifies your face.
I can tell you why.
Tell me why.
Because you don't want the government or Apple.
Yeah, you can't trust technology.
Like we've seen what Facebook and Twitter did from the latest, not the latest, but one of the latest reports from Veritas. Facebook had a written, they had a written fucking program on how to fucking intentionally subvert particular types of news to affect outcomes.
But my point is like,
but the technology
do you
exists.
trust? It does, but do you trust the technology of the fucking the voting machines? I mean, they're not even if you're not. I mean, the whole system's fucked, right?
Right.
So instead of you know what I mean, like.
We keep attacking the wrong thing. So we want to make voting easier for everybody, and we should. It should be easy for everybody. But we see a roadblock like voter identification, and the answer is to do away with identification. No, you make identification easier to get, not voting.
Yeah.
Right? The vote, you have to make sure that it is above reproach. So you make sure if people genuinely can't get identification, which I don't know anybody that doesn't have it, and I have it for years.
Well,
but I'm sure some people don't, whatever the fuck. But if that's the problem, get people ID. I would rather spend my tax dollars getting people identification, proper identification, than have a vote that could be compromised. And I don't know why, I can't understand why anybody or how anybody could make a rational argument against that.
Let me tell you how you fix this voter fraud thing.
Just fight to the death and whoever wins is the leader?
Nope. When you start holding motherfuckers accountable. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Just in Texas, since 2004, there's been 150 people charged with voter fraud in Texas.
Since 2004?
Since 2004, 150 people. But convictions rarely mean jail time. So when you start holding motherfuckers accountable, if you get convicted of voter fraud, like identify exactly, make a law that states exactly what voter fraud is, with teeth,
right?
And you hold people accountable, I'll tell you right now, they'll think twice about fucking doing it.
Maybe. I mean, but it's, again, I feel like we're focused on the wrong thing here.
Why?
Because just in the last two presidential elections, 30 million Texans had voted, and there have been 150 cases of voter fraud. That is negligible.
Yeah.
That's why. Because it's a waste of fucking time.
Oh, I agree.
But the sentiment that we need to secure the vote, I absolutely agree with.
We have to.
And the way to do it is certainly not to make it, to put less eyeballs on it.
Yeah.
If the problem is ID, then we pay for ID. That seems like a really simple fucking solution, to be honest. I would even pay for like hair and makeup before the ID. You know what I mean? Make it a TV show. Make it like fucking Queer Eye for the DMV or some shit, where they come in and fucking give you a makeover. You get a nice, so you're not embarrassed by your driver's license picture. They even cut you out 2 passport pictures for your passport. You go on about your life. We'll pay for all that. I'd rather pay that than not know if the vote was accurate.
Yeah. Because, I mean, look, the voter system is kind of like, it's getting to be the VA. Right? Like,
just a shit show, yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, like, even if the VA came out with the best healthcare ever, it wouldn't matter because the VA's brand is so fucked.
Yeah, it's like putting an engine, I think I've made this analogy before. It's like putting a great engine in a car with no wheels.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it sounds all right, but fuck, you can't drive it anywhere. Next up, Fulton versus the city of Philadelphia. Supreme Court will address a case that arose after, it says which arose after the city of Philadelphia, but that is bad grammar. You use which after a comma. That after no comma, by the way, just saying. Anyways, the city of Philadelphia cut ties with a foster agency after learning that the group's religious views barred it from placing children in homes of gay and lesbian couples. So previously, the city determined that the foster agency's refusal violated an ordinance, prohibited discrimination on basis of sexual orientation. The agency, which is run by Catholic School Services, filed a lawsuit on the grounds that Philadelphia was violating their First Amendment rights to freedom of religious practice. Now, unfortunately, the Catholic Church does have a point here because...
Well, this is the nicest thing you've ever said about the Catholic Church.
Well, it's not nice. I'm just saying they have a legal point, and the reason they do is because of Obama. So this whole thing with the Affordable Care Act, right? One of my friends was actually his women's voting director for the Midwest during the 2012 election. And when he and his administration came out and announced the religious exemption for birth control for the Affordable Care Act, she left, and so did a lot of other women, because they were fucking pissed. So religious exemptions in federal law, even when they violate people's rights to some degree, have standing, right? There's case law supporting that now.
Yeah.
For lack of a better phrase. So thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama.
The primary issues being addressed by SCOTUS in this, however, are whether a free exercise plaintiff can only succeed by proving a particular type of discrimination claim, or whether the courts must consider other evidence that a law is not neutral or generally applicable. So this could have wide-ranging effects.
Yeah.
They're also going to look into whether Employment Division versus Smith needs to be revisited, whether government violates the First Amendment by conditioning a religious agency's ability to participate in the foster care system, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, here we go. Circling back, Employment Division versus Smith was a case where two people were fired by a private drug rehab organization after they took peyote during a religious ceremony as part of their Native American church. Now, that's been the Native American ability to use certain hallucinogens has been a law forever.
Yeah.
Like, that's always been there. So this is stupid. SCOTUS ruled that peyote use violated and was not accepted from the state law prohibition, but concluded that prohibition was invalid under the free exercise clause, right? So it's a complicated decision, but ultimately they were able to do what they want. It is constitutionally permissible to exempt religious peyote from drug laws, but is not required, right? So the government can step in if it's not on a res.
Yeah. It's kind of, so like, you know, this is like a gray area that I'm getting pretty familiar with. That it's like
Most people don't care.
But it's like they still have something to hold over your head.
Correct. If it's like that Russian law, like 416. I don't remember what it is, but it's basically a law that criminalizes everything. Yeah, it's and like they choose how they want to apply.
It's like the military. It's like the catch-all for military.
Yeah.
What is that?
Article 32.
Article
maybe?
32.
I think I don't remember. In recent years, the Supreme Court has been sympathetic to religious rights claims, particularly when it comes to this stuff. And I think this could be a landmark case if they rule, for example, that the use of this extends as a religious right beyond just reservations, and that there can't be punitive action from companies or government, then one, I'm starting a religion the following day where it's just weed is my religion, and you're all welcome to join.
Yeah.
And it's not about me being a fucking pothead. It's about this shit should have been legal 90 years ago. And the fact that it's not is laughable. All right. Supreme Court gun laws, too. A couple of those. Look those up, Bob. There have been a couple of Supreme Court gun things I want to hit on before we leave. But last up here, Manahoy Area School District versus BL. I don't know what the fuck BL is. Hang on. I'm going to look that up. BL. No idea. All right, great.
You know what? I bet it's a child's initials.
Could be, yeah. Supreme Court case concerns the amount of control schools have over off-campus student speech. So, yeah, it's a high school student.
Yeah.
made a post on social media trashing her school after she was rejected from the varsity cheerleading squad while away from school over the weekend. The student took a picture of themselves flipping off the camera with a caption that read, "Fuck school, fuck softball, fuck cheer, fuck everything." The unnamed student was subsequently suspended from cheerleading for a full year, causing her to lose her position on the junior varsity squad. The justices will be judging whether the ruling Tinker versus Des Moines Independent applies to students when they are also off campus. Tinker versus Des Moines Independent holds that public school officials may regulate speech that would materially and substantially disrupt the work and discipline of the school. The lawsuit was originally filed in 1968 when 3 students were suspended for wearing black armband, BLAC, like black bloc, to protest the government's policy in Vietnam. District court ruled that a prohibition against expression of opinion is allowed when necessary to avoid substantial interference with school discipline or the rights of others. I think allowing a school to punish kids for shit that happens away from the school is fucking ludicrous.
But
this is all about power. This is
Yeah.
all about fucking old people getting told to shut the fuck up by young people and being butthurt about it and trying to flex on them. That's all that is, and I don't respect that shit.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't take some heat, then don't work in the leadership position in the first place. Go to the kid and be like, hey, what the school district should have done when you see a kid this upset, fuck school, fuck softball, fuck cheer, fuck everything, they're clearly feeling isolated. Go to the kid and be like, "Hey, are you okay?"
Is it a private school or is it a
It's Manahoy Area School District. It's public.
Yeah, well, then you can't do shit about that.
No, fuck that. I mean, the first response, and maybe it was, I don't know what happened with all this, but the first response should have been the principal, whomever the teacher is, and guidance counselors go to this kid and be like, "Hey, is everything okay? You good at home? Like, it sucks what's happening right now, but."
But you're also talking about, I mean, look, you're also talking about, I mean, look, if I'd wrote something like that or put something like that on my Instagram, my dad would have beat my ass.
Correct.
So you're also talking about, like, there's such a fine line because parents aren't fucking parenting.
That's
and
true in a lot of ways.
And kids have all this fucking power now
Certainly, yeah.
for stuff to go viral without any perspective or any truth to it, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so like, I get it, right? I mean, I think you should be able to speak up. I mean, and you can, but I do think that, like, I mean, look, obviously, I think it's real fucking petty for you to do this to her. But I mean, I don't think you can suspend her from school. But I think that, like, being on
from extracurriculars,
for extracurricular activities, like, for sure you can keep
maybe.
them off
But
that.
this is my problem with this is that it's a teachable moment, and it's also one like a high school kid like that.
But if your parents,
A 14 to 17 to 18-year-old doesn't act like that unless there's something wrong. Maybe it's their parents not doing their job. Maybe they're upset about something. Maybe they're depressed.
Dude, but
Who the fuck knows?
Go talk to these fucking teachers.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Like,
I know.
these parents don't fucking parent. Like, a kid does that shit because their parents are letting them fucking do it or not
Right.
holding them accountable. And so the problem is that these, like, it is a teachable moment, but you can't teach whenever the parents are shitheads too.
No, that's true. I've said this before. I helped out with a study back in the day that was trying to prove, it wasn't trying to prove anything, but it was research on what it took to produce a successful childhood education, right? What were the predictors of it? Was it race? Did white people or Asian people do better than black people, for example, by and large? Did males do better than females? Did people from single parent homes do better than people with 2 parents in the home? Did people from certain social classes or wealth classes, immigration stat, so on and so forth? Everything you could possibly imagine. The only predictor of success that was accurate was parental involvement. It didn't matter if you were a poor black kid from the hood. Didn't matter if you were a rich white kid in a private school. The only thing that mattered was that your parents were looking at your fucking schoolwork every day, basically, right? It was a huge data set, like 3,000 kids from all over the fucking country. And that's what was found. So, yeah, what you're saying is right. I mean, obviously there's a problem.
Yeah,
and the solution is time. The solution is to put more time into it, more money.
I go back to it.
Like the
we don't have a problem with schools. We don't have a fucking problem with our system. We don't have a problem with our the democracy that we have. We don't have a problem with our fucking constitution. What we have is a fucking people problem.
Yeah.
All the way around. Weak people.
Weak. Bob, did you pull up those gun things?
I did.
You want to read those off?
Sure.
Or do you want us to just sit here and fucking guess?
I mean, yeah, you guys can just toss out names if you want. It's really just the one that's
Okay.
huge. New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Corliss. That'd be the NRA versus Corliss. It's a case that involves New York State's handgun licensing law. Essentially, you need to be licensed to carry it in public and demonstrate proper cause.
You have to get a license in New York to buy a handgun in the first place, not just to carry it somewhere. Like you need a license just to buy a handgun there. But yes, you certainly do. And they're what's known as a may issue state, by the way. So there's constitutional carry, where anybody can carry concealed provided you can legally own the firearm. Then there is a shall issue state, which means unless there's some specific reason you can't conceal, right? If you can't pass a background check or whatever. But that's rare because if you can buy the gun in the first place, chances are you can get the fucking permit. Texas is one of those states, although it switches over to constitutional carry in September. Then there's the may issue state, and that's where, like California, you see this good cause requirement. Like you have to demonstrate good cause.
Yeah.
Like my good cause, and people keep filing over and over. I think Parada versus San Diego was one, filed that his good cause was protect himself. But in California and a lot of jurisdictions, particularly the left ones, you have to either contribute to the sheriff's campaign, right? Which I've seen a lot in the Bay Area. Ahern, he's a piece of fucking shit. Or you have to have like an active restraining order against somebody.
Well, listen, I'm not gonna lie. I agree with it. I also think that you should have to justify to have a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
You should have to justify why you need to go that fast.
I
think that these are all things that, I mean,
if you order too big of a steak at a restaurant, you need to explain to me
how
you FaceTime me and tell me why you need all that steak.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that that's definitely reasonable.
Yeah, why not? It's fucking stupid, man.
That's a joke now.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, they had the soda tax, right?
Right, that's a joke now, but the food thing especially, you just scared the shit out of me.
Well, I mean, that's the argument I made when this whole, like, a lot of lefties supported this fucking stupid soda ban back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with it.
And the whole time I was like, is that really how you want to play this? Like, what happens when somebody tells you can't eat enough soy? You know what I mean? Somebody's going to come fucking put the kibosh in your soy intake, then you're going to be happy. What if they tell you can't hike up one pant leg and ride your bike everywhere and grow a stupid mustache? Shut the fuck up. Yeah, and then there's the other one in California too that hasn't made it to the Supreme Court yet, but it will lead to, I don't know if it'll happen in this session or next year, but it will lead to a permanent end to assault rifle bans. Right? I mean, it got overturned in California. That's it. As soon as it goes to SCOTUS, that shit's done. So that's another good one.
And they're saying that anything with a center, anything that is a center fire round is a assault weapon.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
I mean, what's a non-assault weapon look like?
It'd be like a 22, because it's a rimfire.
I mean, I can shoot you enough times with a 22. A 22 Magnum rimfire is gonna.
Dude, I could kill you with
a 22 LR. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck outta
We
here.
had a guy in our hometown got smoked by a 22.
I mean, I wouldn't try to shoot anybody in the head with one unless you're going through the eyeball, because.
That's how you get killed.
Yeah. Anyways, before we leave, if you go to Maine, which is Multicultural All-Inclusive Network, our new private Facebook group, you'll see a post by a woman named Samantha Blake. I'm going to read it to you right quick. It says, "Hi guys, please delete it, not allowed. That's unnecessary. There's a little boy named Jackson who is autistic. Although he functions at a much younger age, he'll be 13 tomorrow and graduated from elementary school last week. My two daughters will be the only ones who attend his birthday party this weekend, and he's never been to a birthday party but loves the idea of them. Would anybody be willing to send him a card to tell him congrats for graduating or happy birthday, yada, yada, yada?" The base housing put congratulations in the yards of all the people who graduated middle school except for the special needs kids.
Wow.
Right.
Let's fucking send him something.
So we already, Samantha's already purchasing a sign, which we'll pay for. But if you can go find that, post in Maine, or if you just want to DM it to the Drinking Bros Instagram page, our social media lady Danny is going to compile all the videos that get sent in, and our editor Sean is going to throw them all together in a video for this kid, because fuck these people.
Fuck these. Where does he live? Maine?
Man, you are just the worst. Just the worst. Hold on, I'm trying to see.
Let's send him a video.
Yeah, we'll make a video on Friday and add it for the last one after he gets done doing everything. I can't remember which base she said he was at, but it's I think it's a Navy base somewhere. But yeah, that's unconscionable.
That's fucking
It's
nuts.
because the kid is in a one-on-one style class and he isn't part of a bigger group, so they didn't provision for those kids to get taken care of.
Yeah,
and
fuck
celebrated
those
like
people.
everybody else. Because why would they need it?
Yeah, why?
Right? Why would the kids most at risk
Yeah.
need encouragement?
Yeah, fuck.
We fail kids too much,
Yeah.
but we're trying not to fail them on this show. So yeah, if you can get over there and share some of that stuff, that'd be great.
Hell yeah.
And in the meantime, we'll see you in hell.
See you in hell.